And here we are. This is our nice little secret. We still haven't got a name for this feature yet, but welcome everybody to this week of MTGO Masters. I'm going to kick off with the first question because I want to talk about the structure. Why did you pick the 3 decks that you picked tonight? Let's start with you, Mason, because you're that side of me.
Sure, yeah. So I brought Yawgmoth, Gorgorios, and then Jeskai Control. Jeskai and Gorgorios are 2 of the better performing decks that kind of weren't banned, and 2 decks that I kind of like as well. So I was happy to have those. And I picked Yawg because I kind of thought maybe we might see some Eldrazi and some Tron stuff. And the list I had main deck Fulminator plus Soul Cauldron. And then Soul Cauldron's pretty good against Gorgorios, which I thought some of the other players might pick. Seemed kind of good against the energy decks, which seemed kind of nice. So all that combined with just liking to play Yawg made it a pretty easy choice for me to go that direction.
Nice. Okay, next up, Nath. Talk to me. Why these 3 decks? Why this week?
So the 3 decks that I brought were, I'm playing Shota's Jeskai Wizards deck, which I just thought was an awesome looking deck. Like, in particular, Shota's deck building is always very unique, and I love the Tamiyo plus Flames of Inorshell. I picked, I believe this is Ken Yukihiro's Mardu energy deck. This one, really just the idea was I wanted to fight against the energy mirrors with some Bowmasters. So that was the concept behind it, not too much other thought. And then lastly was Yuta Takahashi's blue-black Psychic Frog deck. You know what? The idea behind this one was I just really liked the creativity of the deck, and it kind of reminded me of the blue-black deck in Legacy that's seeing some play with 4 Psychic Frog and a more controlling blue package. So really like Psychic Frog and excited to take someone down with that one.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of that frog. I think it's great. It's a really cool, well-designed card. But on that one, next up, mine. Why these 3 decks and why this week?
Hey, so I talked to Frank Karsten, and we made a spreadsheet and did a lot of calculations on which deck is the best. And I'm obviously just kidding. I just picked the 3 fastest decks I could find, and I'm playing Gruul Aggro, I'm playing Boros Energy, and I'm also playing the deck that Matt Sperling did really well with, and then Kai won the PTQ with on Sunday, which is the Gorgorios Vengeance deck, which I think is really good.
Yeah, it's been to a lot of players. They were very high on that at the Pro Tour weekend. It also pays off to have some very powerful friends like Frank Carson, very powerful wizard. Going on to you, Dingo, your 3 decks. Talk to me about them.
Well, since you guys banned Necro, I can't play my favorite Grief anymore. So
Nope.
I guess I had to resort to playing Ken's Mardu Energy deck and Brian Boss's Gruul Prowess deck, as well as Javier Dominguez's Jeskai Control deck. I know Mason Clark was in the pod, father of Flage, so I had to bring 2 Flage decks at least. Got to pay tribute to Mason, especially when I beat him with his own card.
Let's go.
Sorry.
Nice.
All right, next question is coming from Anu.
Yeah, so one thing that's really interesting, the theme for this week was that you had to take a Pro Tour deck, copy paste it, and submit it this week. Were there any cards? I mean, it's been 2 weeks now. The meta has evolved a little bit, adapted a little bit, with the Pro Tour sort of like paving the path. Are there any cards that you wish you could have played this week that you didn't get to? And Mason, we'll start with you.
Honestly, one of the things I kind of wish I could have done with like maybe the Jeskai. I mean, I would like to get rid of all the cards that are good against like, Nadu or Storm or whatever. They're kind of all dead sideboard cards. And going into the Pro Tour, everyone knew those 2 decks were really big. And so one thing I actually did with the event is I actually started with the people who did the worst at the Pro Tour, who I hoped hadn't prepared very well, and they didn't have plans for Nadu and Storm. And I read every Pro Tour list going up for a little while, and I realized everyone was ready for it. I couldn't find any sort of like secret, deck that was like Javier's, but just had a bad sideboard or something like that for that field. So that would be kind of what I would change about things. That would be the biggest thing, just because the environment is so different. But I really wanted to play Soul Cauldron Yawg because I thought that kind of made a bit more sense. So I think I kind of wish I could play more Cauldrons in my deck would be the one answer, I guess.
Okay, cool. Nathan, how about you?
I wouldn't change a thing. My decks are perfect.
Nice.
I love the confidence.
I don't know about
it.
the rest of my competitors, but I usually just went for the best built decks, and that's what I went with.
All right, Martin.
If we could play with the cards that are banned, I would probably play with Necro. Like, when I didn't know about the stipulation, I thought this Necro deck looks really sweet. I'm going to be drawing a lot of cards. I'm going to be playing Grief. I'm going to be doing all these cool things for free. So I would have probably played that. But I mean, I like aggro decks, so I'm pretty happy with the decks I'm playing.
Awesome. Yeah, I think last week we had Doomwig draw like 34 cards, and I was like, this is my dream. And you're living it. So, really cool. And then lastly, Dingo, I mean, besides Grief, what else? I'm going to make it hard for you.
All I'm gonna say is that my Mardu deck has 12 sideboard cards for Storm, and Storm is currently not legal in this tournament. So I have a 3-card sideboard, and one of them's Giganta.
Flex on it, my
Good luck,
friend. I like
Mason.
it. That's cool. I like it. I love it. But that's it. We're gonna let you all go off. We're gonna set you up into our feature matches, get you into our casting booths, and we're gonna come back to the booth with me and Anu while we do that. So